Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and here I am to make another retro wrestling review. And I figured with it being September, I decided I would review a retro Unforgiven pay-per-view. And so I decided to take a look at Unforgiven 2003. So, yeah, at the time, this was, only like the second ever like Raw exclusive pay-per-view. Yeah, this was just like when the brand exclusive pay-per-views were starting, where all like Raw would have a pay-per-view and then SmackDown would have a pay-per-view, and yeah, would like switch around. And this was at the time this was a Raw pay-per-view and only the second one ever. And quite honestly, this show, it really is not that great of a show. I mean, it wasn't like a horrible pay per view. Like there were like this pay per view did have like good matches on it, but really just it was very lackluster. Like the show just really didn't turn out very good. Just because I mean, while it did have some good matches, it also did have like quite the number of crap on the show, and even like it just like really didn't turn out very good. I mean, a lot of people say like at this time, Raw really was not very good in 2003 and stuff, and people are really just like have said like during this time, this was when like SmackDown was like the dominant brand in the WWE, and Raw just wasn't very good. And I did enjoy Raw at this time, but Raw just seemed to like really be lacking in some stuff. Like I really don't know what it was. Just there was just something about Raw that just really didn't like make. I don't know. It's just like for whatever reason, just there was something that just was really making Raw like not turn out all that great. Even though I did enjoy it, but this just like was at a time when Raw just really was kind of suffering and like match, and like talent quality and stuff. Like they were like bringing in like a lot of new guys into the company at the time, and a lot of these guys just like were really green. Like you did have them like people, you just did have like a lot of people like La Resistance and you just like had some like other like newcomers coming in too. Like Goldberg at the time like was seeming like very very rusty. Like I don't know, like I think just the 2 years off just kind of did like make him like pretty rusty when he did return to action in 2003. And even like a lot of like the stuff, people at the time just they just seemed like really rusty and green. Just I'm not sure like what it was that went wrong with it, but for whatever reason it just like kind of made Raw just like suffer in terms of like wrestling quality on the shows. And it just like really shows in the pay-per-views. Like I've already reviewed Armageddon 2003 before, and that really was not that great of a show. And neither was this one. Just if you like watch like the pay-per-views from 2003, like the brand exclusive pay-per-views, it'll just like show like how like it just shows like how dominant SmackDown really was at the time, because I reviewed Vengeance 2003, which was a great show. And so it just kind of shows like how much better SmackDown was doing at the time than Raw. So and this show just, it really didn't turn out to be very good. I mean, like I said, it wasn't a horrible show. Like you did have like some good matches on the show, but it was very inconsistent. Like some matches just were like good, not great. I mean, it did have like some disappointments on here, and it just like really just seemed to really suffer, especially like when it comes to the main event, because of like what they failed to do the previous month at SummerSlam. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it just this show just really seemed to be lacking. Just you did have some matches that maybe like could have actually been better on the show, but and so I just really don't know what else to say. Just it wasn't a horrible show. Like there is like some stuff in here that's good, but there's also like some stuff that really does suck about it too. So it's just a very inconsistent show. But I'd be lying if I said there really wasn't anything worth watching on the show. But quite honestly, like if you really ask if this show really is worth tracking down to see if this is like a must-see pay-per-view, I would definitely say no. Like, there's nothing on here that really is a must-see, but it does have some good stuff on it. So, yeah, I guess that's just the best way I can put it. Just not horrible, but just not very good. Alright, so, yeah, so let me just talk about the matches on the show. So the first match on the show was actually interesting because it was a match that was kind of like changed up at the last minute. The first match was actually supposed to be just a six-man tag table match with all three Dudley Boyz versus the three members of La Resistance, which included Rob Conway. Yeah, but Spike Dudley was like written out of this match because a couple of weeks ago Spike was actually injured after a botch because a couple of weeks before this on Raw, La Resistance were like meaning to throw Spike down out of the ring, down to the floor through a table, but apparently like the table wasn't aligned correctly, and so yeah, Spike ended up just hitting his head on the table. So yeah, and that like ended up like injuring Spike, and so yeah, Spike had to be like written off at TV. And so yeah, on the Raw before this show, like Spike Dudley was laid out again in a match against Rob Conway. And so, yeah, then they just, like, put it as, just because of the injury Spike sustained, like, he was unable to compete, so, oh, yeah, so earlier in the night on Sunday Night Heat, like, Eric Bischoff made it a 3-on-2 handicap match with just Bubba and Devon against the three members of La Resistance, but Stone Cold also made the match for the World Tag Team titles, since La Resistance were the World Tag Team champions at the time. So yeah, this match ended up being a 3-on-2 handicap table match for the World Tag Team titles. So yeah, it was La Resistance, all three of them, defending the titles against the Dudley Boyz. And before I actually like talk about this match, Lillian Garcia, are you a freaking idiot? Like during the Dudley Boyz entrance, Lillian Garcia just announced the Dudley Boyz just as the team of Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley. Like, Lillian, are you freaking stupid? Just say the Dudley Boyz. Oh, man. Idiot. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, and this was a pretty good match, I guess. I guess it was a good way to open up the show. I mean, it wasn't like a great match or anything, but it was like good enough, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I told you before how I really was not a big fan of the match between La Resistance and the Dudley Boyz at SummerSlam the month before. Yeah, La Resistance just like since they were still like new to the company, they just seemed like very very green at the time and just like didn't really like kind of like it took some time for them to adjust into the ring. So yeah, at the time they were just like very green and like just like seemed like pretty rusty and just like yeah, they needed like some time to adjust because yeah, the early match that they had just seemed to really be lacking. Yeah, but this match I guess was like good, probably like their best match in the company up to this point. Yeah, and yeah, it was like solid, like back and forth action between both teams. Yeah, it was funny. Like this match kind of started off as a traditional like tag team match with like the guys actually tagging in and out, but then eventually like it just like had all of the guys like in the ring at the same time against each other. So that was kind of strange. Yeah. And then eventually, Devon ended up going through a table after like La Resistance like Irish whipped Devon into like a table that was set up in the corner. Yeah, and the stipulation for this match was like all members of the team had to go through a table in order for the other team to win. So yeah, once Devon went through the table, of course the match wasn't over yet. Yeah. Yeah, but then eventually, Bubba was able to suplex Sylvain Grenier through a table. Yeah, that was a nice save in this match where like La Resistance had a table position and they were going to throw Bubba through it, but Devon like moved the table out of the way before Bubba could actually go through it. Yeah, and eventually Rob Conway ended up going through a table after the Dudley Boyz did a similar thing to him that happened to Spike, where like there were two tables like on the floor outside of the ring. And then they like threw Rob Conway through one of the tables, and Rob Conway hit his head on the other one, which was similar to what happened to Spike. Yeah, I'll put like what happened to Spike a couple of weeks before, what I was just talking about a minute ago, down in the description if you want to see for yourself what actually happened to him and why he was like written out of this match. Yeah, and then yeah, it was down to Bubba Ray and Rene Dupree going through a table, and then like Lawler is not trying to battle back. Like Sylvain Grenier tried to use the French flag as a weapon on the Dudley Boyz, but the Dudley Boyz were able to dodge it. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, Rene Dupree then like tried to battle back at the Dudley Boyz, and he uh, tried to throw Devon through a table again for some reason. But yeah, Devon was able to counter it. And then the Dudley Boyz then were able to 3D Rene Dupree through a table, and then yeah, the Dudley Boyz got the win, and the Dudley Boyz became the new World Tag Team Champions. So yeah, a good moment with the Dudley Boyz winning the match, and yeah, and this match was overall it was I guess it was a good way to start the pay per view. So yeah, I would give this match probably like 3 stars. And then after this, oh man, this is like the example of how horrible this paper. Well, not horrible, but why this pay per view turned out not being a good one. Next up, then we had Test versus Scott Steiner with like Stacy's managerial services on the line. Yeah, I'm sure that all you like remember the storyline and how horrible it was. Just like all throughout like the summer that year, like we had like the whole stuff going on with Tess, Scott Steiner, and Stacy Keibler. Tess and Scott Steiner were starting to team up in matches. Of course, like they faced them La Resistance at Judgment Day that year, and then yeah, then once Stacy was starting to kind of have a connection with Scott Steiner, Tess was starting to get jealous of it and was wanting Stacy Keibler to stay away from Scott Steiner, and then yeah, it turned into some real tension between Tess and Stacy Keibler, and yeah, eventually then it just ruined their relationship, and yeah, at Bad Blood that year, then Scott Steiner beat Tess to gain Stacy as his manager, and then eventually Tess then was able to get Stacy back, and then yeah, this whole thing just continued. Yeah, I remember before this match, they actually had a video package just showing a whole recap of this entire storyline, and with the Cold song "Suffocate" playing. Yeah, I'll put that in the description also if you want to see it. But yeah. Yeah, and then we got to this match again with this rivalry still continuing, and the stipulations for this match was, of course, Stacy's services were on the line again. So if Scott Steiner won the match, he would regain Stacy as his manager again. But also, there was another stipulation where that if Tess won, he would retain Stacy's services, but also acquire Scott Steiner services, with Scott Steiner becoming Tess property. I guess basically yeah, with Scott Steiner working for Test. But yeah, this match was just freaking horrible. I mean, yeah, the match they had at Bad Blood was horrible, and this was another horrible one. Just, this feud just freaking sucked, and the matches sucked. Yeah, this was one of the worst storylines of the entire Ruthless Aggression era. This was just freaking horrible. I mean, it was just slow action, nothing memorable happened. I mean, of course, throughout there were a couple of times in this match where Stacy, of course, was trying to help Scott Steiner win. And yeah, there was one point where Tess tried to pin Scott Steiner with his feet on the ropes, but Stacy ended up pushing Tess' feet off the rope. Yeah. And then at the end of this match, there was a point where Tess had the referee distracted somehow, and then he tried to hit Scott Steiner with a chair, but Stacy snatched the chair away, and then she tried to hit Tess with the chair, but Tess ducked, and then Stacy accidentally hit Scott Steiner, and then yeah, then Tess finished off Scott Steiner with a big boot and pinned him. So yeah, Tess won, and then yeah, he got Scott Steiner as his property. But of course, this would pretty much just lead to Tess and Scott Steiner becoming an actual tag team, because of course the week after this, Scott Steiner officially turned heel and turned on Stacy and attacked her for costing him this match, and also that night costing. That night where he turned heel, Stacy ended up costing Tess and Scott Steiner a chance to win the World Tag Team title. So yeah, after that, that's just when Scott Steiner decided that he was done with Stacy, and then yeah, he attacked her and turned heel. So yeah, but yeah, this whole feud freaking sucked, and the match sucked. Just screw this whole storyline. Screw it. Yeah. So yeah, I would give that just half a star. Freaking sucked. Then next up, then we get the true highlight of this entire show. Next up, then we get Shawn Michaels versus Randy Orton, and this was a really good match right here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this was like just like right when and like Randy Orton started to be like labeled as the Legend Killer. So yeah, this was really like the first match Randy Orton had that was like being labeled as a Legend versus Legend Killer match. Yeah, but yeah, this match was just like really, really good. Yeah, this was like kind of like just like around the time where the WWE was really like starting to really build Randy Orton into a new star. Or yeah, of course, like they did this like pretty much throughout the next year with like all the stuff they did with Randy Orton. But yeah, of course, like it started right here. Of course, like throughout the summer, like Randy Orton, like he like screwed Shawn Michaels in the match against Ric Flair at Bad Blood, and then he also like attacked Mick Foley like at Madison Square Garden. He kicked him down that flight of stairs. So yeah, with all that like going on with Randy Orton, like taking out the legends like that, and also like he even like RKO'd the Fabulous Moolah. Yeah, that's when like Randy Orton then was now being like booked as the Legend Killer, and yeah, like I said, this was just like the first match he had that was like labeled a Legend versus Legend Killer match. And, yeah, this was just a really good match right here, and definitely the match of the night. Yeah, I mean, this was just like really, really good back and forth with action between the two. I did like at one point like Randy Orton tried to do a high flying move on Shawn Michaels, but Shawn Michaels caught Randy Orton in midair and like gave him an atomic drop. Yeah. You had Ric Flair, of course, like at ringside with Randy Orton. There were like times where, like, when Shawn Michaels was on the outside of the ring, Ric Flair would attack Shawn Michaels. Yeah, and then like Randy Orton was also targeting Shawn Michaels' shoulder in the match. Yeah, because at one point, like Shawn Michaels ended up like hitting his shoulder on the ring post and hurting it, and then that's when like Randy Orton was then starting to target Shawn Michaels' shoulder in the match. Yeah, and there was and at one point, like Shawn Michaels tried to go for the Sweet Chin Music on Randy Orton. Randy Orton countered it into an RKO, which was a nice spot. Yeah. Yeah, the match just like continued to go back and forth. It was just a really good match. Yeah. And then at the end of this match, like Shawn Michaels then was able to then hit a Sweet Chin Music on Randy Orton, and he appeared to get the pin, but Ric Flair ended up putting Randy Orton's foot on the rope, and so then after the referee then made the 3 count, then like he saw that Randy Orton's foot on the rope, and so then he like just avoided the pinfall and then had the match continue, and then Ric Flair ended up like slipping a pair of brass knucks to Randy Orton, and as Ric Flair tried to like go after Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels then hit a Sweet Chin Music on Ric Flair, and like Shawn Michaels then attempted like a back suplex on Randy Orton, but Randy Orton hit Shawn Michaels with the brass knucks, and then that knocked Shawn Michaels out, and then that allowed Randy Orton to get the pin. So yeah, Randy Orton got the win. So yeah, I was glad to see like Randy Orton get the win like that, and like I said, this was the really like the start of like Randy Orton like being like WWE really building him up into like a new star. Or that would like continue on for basically like the next year. Like he got the win here, and then of course like by the end of the year he was the Intercontinental Champion and had that great reign, and then he would become like the World Champion, just like at SummerSlam the next year, and then so yeah. But then of course like he then like ended up like losing momentum and pretty much like just his whole push for the entire year, of course, was destroyed after he lost the title to Triple H. So yeah, that kind of sucked. But yeah, at least here, like this was like the start of him being built into a new star. So yeah. So like I said, this was a really good match. Definitely the match of the night. I would give this 3.5 stars. Yeah. And then next up, then we had a tag match with Gail Kim and Molly Holly versus Trish Stratus and Lita. And this was like it was an alright match. I mean, for a Divas match, I guess it was just fine. I mean, what this match, of course, is known for is it being Lita's first match in like a year and a half, because, of course, like Lita suffered a broken neck in 2002, and she just returned on the previous Raw before this show. So, yeah, I guess this was mainly just to be known as just a return match for Lita, and it was just fine. I mean, nothing really memorable happened. I mean, yeah, Lita was bleeding from her mouth pretty bad in this match. I'm not really sure like how it happened, but yeah, you just saw like her lower lip just bleeding pretty badly here. Yeah, and yeah, it was like an alright match. I mean, like I said, not really anything too memorable happened, but yeah, it was just basically like all four women just go into this match. They were just like doing their stuff, and then yeah, at the end of this match, Trish and Lita get the win after Lita performed a moonsault on Molly Holly from the top turnbuckle and got the pin. So yeah, Trish and Lita got the win. So yeah, it was just fine. I mean, I really feel like this was just like used as a buffer match between Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton and the match that would follow this one. So yeah, I guess it did its job, basically just to let people just calm down and just like go to the bathroom or yeah, just do something to just kind of relax until the next big match that would follow. So yeah, so I guess this match did its job well enough. So yeah, I would give this match probably like 2.25. And then next up, then we had Kane versus Shane McMahon in a last man standing match. Oh man, so yeah, everybody has just talked about the Kane Shane McMahon feud. I mean, everyone has said that they love this feud, well, except for Lundrick. Like I've seen like Lundrick's reviews of like this show and Survivor Series 2003, and he said that he did not like this feud. Like what? Like, he says that he just found, like, Shane beating up Kane to be stupid. It was not stupid, alright? Kane attacked Shane's mother. I mean, what would you do if someone attacked your mother? So, yeah, it wasn't stupid for Shane to attack Kane like that. And, like, how the hell did you not like this feud? This feud was freaking awesome. So, yeah, I don't know, like, what it is about this feud Lunder doesn't like. But, yeah, he's missing something because this was an awesome feud. Yeah, and this was a pretty good match right here. I mean, not a classic or anything, but an entertaining match. Yeah, I mean, this match really just did have, like, a lot of weapon use in here. Like, during Kane's entrance, like, Shane just ran out and nailed Kane with a chair several times. Yeah. And really, this match just, like, had a lot of weapon use here. It was, like, a chair, hair, the steel steps, and yeah, just like a bunch of like different weapons like that, and a lot of brawling like on the outside of the ring and stuff. Yeah, at one point like Shane actually like hit the coast to coast on Kane with the steel steps, kicking them right into Kane's face. Yeah, and yeah, this was just a really good match. I mean, it had like a lot of violence in it with like Kane attacking like Shane on the outside of the ring, like choke slamming him and nailing him with the steel steps, and yeah, just like a bunch of like brutal stuff in this match. Yeah, and then and like I said, Shane did hit a coast to coast on Kane with the steel steps, and yeah, and Shane really like was able to really hold his own against Kane here. I mean, and this was just like this feud was just like really awesome, and and this was a pretty good match right here. I mean, yeah, the Survivor Series match that they had, that really wasn't very good, but yeah, this one definitely was. Yeah, and yeah, they were, like I said, there was just like brawling between the two of them. Yeah, they were brawling on the outside of the ring, they were brawling in the ring, a lot of weapon use here. I mean, yeah, you really would have figured that Kane would have like been able to kill Shane in this match at some point, or Shane would have killed Kane. I mean, considering like how personal this rivalry really was. As in like with of course with Kane like attacking Linda, and then also with Shane kicking Kane into that burning dumpster, and Kane electrocuting Shane's testicles, and all the other stuff that happened up to this point in the rivalry. Yeah, I mean, you really figure that they would have really killed each other here, and they really even did attempt to do that, because, yeah, the match eventually also, like, ended up, like, spilling into the, like, the entranceway. At one point, like, they were fighting, like, in the area where the Spanish announce table was set up, and, yeah, and Kane ended up, like, completely tipping over the announce table, tried to throw it on Shane, but yeah, Shane, like, it didn't, like, end up falling on Shane, yeah. And Shane also then, like, used the, boom camera and nailed Kane with it, and yeah, you could even see, like, after Shane hit Kane with it, the lens, like, broke, yeah. And then, yeah, Shane then, like, was able to beat down Kane, like, knocked him out with the television monitors, yeah. And then, of course, this also, like, has that really famous ending where, like, Shane tried to do what he did to Big Show at Backlash 2001, where, yeah, Kane was, like, laid out, and then, yeah, Shane then, like, climbed to the top of the staging and tried to dive down on Kane, but unlike Backlash 2001, where he actually was able to nail Big Show with the fall, after, when, Shane dove down on Kane, Kane moved out of the way, so Shane, like, just went through the, wood and the flooring, yeah, and of course, like, Shane couldn't get up from that, so yeah, Shane was counted down for the 10 count, and Kane was the last man standing, so Kane got the win. And so, yeah, but yeah, just, yeah, when Shane just, like, missed Kane like that, gosh, that just was freaking brutal. Like, I remember, like, watching that as a kid, that made me, like, cringe, just seeing, like, Shane missing Kane like that. Oh man, just, yeah, that was just, oh, that was a scary sight as a kid, yeah. But yeah, this was definitely, like, a good match right here. Not a classic, but definitely a good one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was kind of upset that Kane, like, won both matches that they had on pay-per-view. I would have liked to have seen Shane win one of them, but yeah, I mean, it's all these years later, what are we going to do about it? So, yeah. But yeah, this was still a good match overall. I would give this probably like a 3.25. Yeah. Yeah. And then after this, then we had, like, the Intercontinental title on the line in a triple threat match. It was Christian defending against Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam. And this was good, I guess. I mean, yeah, considering, like, the talent involved in this match probably could have been a whole lot better. So yeah, this match was like pretty disappointing when you think about it. But yeah, I guess, like, just, like, coming off of, like, the Kane McMahon match and, like, just that sight that everyone saw with uh, Shane's fall like that, I guess people just, like, were kind of, like, out of it, and we're coming back from it. So yeah, I guess, like, that's why, like, nobody could really get into this match very much. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, this was like still, while it could have been, like, a whole lot better, this was still a good match. I mean, it started out basically the way you would expect it to. Yeah, this was, of course, like, when Chris Jericho and Christian, of course, were friends, and they were, like, tag team partners. So yeah, this match started off with, like, the two of them, like, just double teaming RVD. But but, uh, but then eventually, Chris Jericho and Christian did go at it. And yeah, there really was not a whole lot of memorable stuff in this match. I mean, one spot that I really did like was when RVD tried to, like, go for a superplex or something on Chris Jericho. Was it like a superplex or a German suplex, or yeah, something like that? Yeah. Yeah. And then Christian, like, got RVD in an electric chair, and yeah, they all went down together. So yeah, that was kind of a cool spot. Yeah. And then at one point, as Chris Jericho was, like, lying on the outside of the ring, RVD, like, Christian had, like, the Intercontinental title with him. As the referee was distracted, RVD tried to go for a 5-star frog splash on Christian, but Christian, like, had the belt up, and RVD fell onto the belt. And then Christian then was able to just pick the bones and pin RVD with a roll up, and so Christian retained the title. So yeah. Yeah, so a good match, but yeah, like I said, with the star power involved, this could have been better. But yeah, what we got, we still did get a good match. So I would give this probably like 3 stars once again. Yeah. And then after this, then we had JR and King versus Coach and Al Snow, and the stipulation for this match was that the winning team would be the commentary team on Raw. And, yeah, this wasn't good at all. This match sucked. Like, yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting how, like, there was no commentary for this match. Actually, with, of course, like, with JR and King, like, being in action for this match, like, nobody was on commentary for this match, so it was kind of like strange to like just watch a match without any commentary in it. Yeah, but yeah, still this match just this was terrible. I mean, yeah, JR and Coach, I mean, they weren't even wrestlers, so of course like what were we even gonna expect to see from them? Yeah. Jerry Lawler was like in his 50s at the time, so yeah, of course, like wasn't gonna get a whole lot out of him. And even Al Snow, I mean, he wasn't even like a full time competitor at this point anymore. Like Alpha was hardly ever wrestling anymore, and even then, he also like he wasn't even being taken seriously. He's since like 1999. So with all that going on, I mean, yeah, of course, like people were probably knowing that if this match wasn't even going to be very good, and it wasn't. Yeah, this just was terrible. I mean, it started off with with a King and Al Snow going at it and some very slow action, and then eventually then a Coach got tagged in, and he went at it with King for a little bit, and then JR eventually got tagged in, and we had some very sloppy fighting between JR and Coach, and and then at one point, like as a King and Al Snow were fighting on the outside of the ring, and the referee was distracted with them. JR was like beating down Coach in the ring, and then Chris Jericho ended up like interfering, and then attacking JR, and then that allowed Coach then to pin JR and get the win. So then and then with this, then Coach and Al Snow became the commentary team for Raw. They commentated Raw the next night, but then like the next week, JR beat Coach in a country whipping match for JR and King to get their announcing jobs back. So so that didn't last very long, and so what was even the point of this whole thing even going on? So the match was terrible. I give it it just was a horrible match. I give that a dud. It was awful. And then we get the main event, and the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Triple H defending against Goldberg. And in this match, also like Goldberg's career was also on the line, and also in this match, like Triple H could also lose the title by a disqualification or a countout. Hell, and to tell you the truth, just this match really didn't have the same feel that like the Elimination Chamber at SummerSlam did. I mean, like I told you before, or like I was actually at SummerSlam that year, and I mean, just I would have really loved to see Goldberg win. I mean, I'm sure just about everyone did. I mean, just it really did have like a great atmosphere here for that match. And with Goldberg being so dominant in that Elimination Chamber, that would have been like the right time for him to become the champion. But of course, Triple H like ended up winning, and that really did like hurt Goldberg's momentum. So this match really just didn't feel as special at all. And plus, I also didn't like that like they put Goldberg's career on the line in this match too, just because I mean, Goldberg was just in the company for like 4 months up to this point. So you mean this? So are you really saying that Goldberg was really going to leave the company that soon after debuting? So I guess that was just another sign that Goldberg was going to win this match. Just because obviously WWE wasn't going to have Goldberg leave that soon after debuting. So and this match also, it just really wasn't very good. I mean, it seemed a very slow pace because like Triple H was injured at this time. So so Goldberg and Triple H seemed like very limited to what they were going to be able to do in this match, and it really shows because it just seemed like a very, very slow paced match. Actually, at one point, like Goldberg tried to go for a spear, but Triple H countered with a face breaker. And it was just like a lot of a slow paced action. Like there was no like real brawling in this match. Like there was just like stuff with like Triple H, Goldberg continuously throwing around Triple H in the match, and yeah, it just was very slow paced, and it seemed very short. I mean, just yeah, it just really he wasn't very memorable. I mean, there was just not really any memorable in ring action. It wasn't very entertaining. And plus, just with Goldberg not winning the title at SummerSlam and then trying it again here, it just really didn't feel as big at all on stuff. So yeah, but and then Triple H ended up getting busted open after he hit his head on the steps or something. Yeah, and yeah, Triple H tried to hit Goldberg with a sledgehammer, but yeah, Goldberg was able to survive it, and then yeah, Goldberg then hit a spear and a jackhammer on a Triple H, and then yeah, Goldberg then was able to pin Triple H, and yeah, Goldberg got the win and won the title. So yeah, at least they did it here. I mean, it would have been a lot better for them to do it at SummerSlam, but yeah, they did do it here, so I guess they at least did do it. But yeah, like I said, it just didn't feel as special here at all as it would have been if they would have done it at SummerSlam. I mean, just yeah, like I said, I really would have loved to see it be done at SummerSlam, especially with me actually being at that show. But yeah, but they did it here instead, so. Yeah, it really did hurt Goldberg's momentum and didn't feel as special, but, I mean, at least you can say at least they did it. Yeah, and I remember at the time I just was just so happy that Triple H finally did lose the title, because it just seemed that he held it for absolutely forever at this point. So yeah, I was glad that he finally did lose it. So yeah, but still, it really just wasn't a very good match. I would give it probably 2 stars. Just, yeah, not a very good match. Yeah. So overall, the show, I would give it probably around a, I don't know, probably a 5.5 out of 10, I guess. I mean, like I said, you did have some good stuff on here, like the table match and Shawn Michaels versus Randy Orton and the Last Man Standing match. You did have some good stuff on here, but also just with Tess and Scott Steiner, that announcers match, Triple H and Goldberg and stuff like that. Just, yeah, also had some real crap like that on the show. So yeah, it's just some good stuff, but not enough to really call the entire show good. So yeah, if you're interested, I would probably say just watch the Shawn Michaels Randy Orton match and possibly the Kane Shane McMahon match, but everything else is pretty skippable. So yeah, not really a recommended show, but yeah, the 2 matches that I mentioned are worth watching. So yeah, check those out if you're curious enough. But the show the show as a whole, I really wouldn't say is really worth tracking down. So yeah, not really recommended. Alright, so I guess that's all I really have to say about it. So this does it for my review of Unforgiven 2003. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.